What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first segment, the first episode of Building Business Credit. This is going to be a series where I walk you guys through how to build a business credit without using your social or providing any personal guarantees. So that's something that interests you. Be sure that you make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the future episodes that I release. Okay. And guys, I do want to apologize. I know it's taken me some time to be able to get this out. There's a lot of research going into it and, kind of just comparison shopping, all that stuff, just to make sure that I was doing it right the first time. And what I love about this series is I'm going to be able to show you kind of over the shoulder of what I'm doing. You're going to be able to see what accounts I'm applying for, things like that, what routes I'm taking. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you'll also be able to see that and you'll be there to avoid the pitfalls that I fall into. Okay. So without further ado, let's jump into what this episode's about so we can get started on business credit. Now, guys, the main focus of this episode is going to be about really building credibility. Without having a solid foundation, then it's going to be hard for us to be able to continue to add credit and, be able to build credit and being able to be trustworthy with the lenders that are actually trying to extend us this credit. Okay. So that's really the big thing, especially the route that I'm trying to go, right? Like I told you guys, I'm trying to make sure that I don't have to use my social or provide any personal guarantees. The real benefit to that is that it's not going to be attached to me. I'm not attached to the business. So if there's a situation where, for example, I have credit extended to me that I'm not able to pay back, then it still stays with the business. Whereas if it's a situation where you provided personal guarantees or you're using your social on forms, which, there's even certain like business cards, they're called business cards, but you still give out your social when you apply for them. In those cases, they can come after you if your business becomes insolvent or you're not able to pay back the debts that you borrowed, pretty much. They can come after you to be able to collect the money that you borrowed for them. Okay. So I wanted to do this like an actual business where if they're trying to get them, it's a situation where, my business is no longer working out and I have debts I need to pay back, then they have to come in an agreement. They have to come to an agreement with my business as opposed to coming straight to me for it. Okay. So they can't attack any of my personal assets. So that's really the route I wanted to go. And because of that, we have to do extra steps to make sure that we are shown as a credible company. So whether you have a business that you've been running or you are just starting a new business and you're following along with me, this is going to be very important and going to work for both of the scenarios, really any scenarios, right? And so that's what I'm going to walk you guys through today. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are registered as an actual business. Now, luckily for me, I'm using a business that I had created previously that I've kind of I pretty much use it to test any business ideas before I turn that idea into an actual company. So I've used this, I've had this business open for at least a little time. Okay. So what you want to do first, if you don't have a business, is actually get incorporated through your state. Okay. Now you can do it. I typically, just because I'm familiar with setting it up, I do it myself through my Secretary of State down in Texas. And if you're in a situation where you know how to fill out that stuff, you can do it online as well, more than likely, or you just turn in a form. But you can just Google your Secretary of State and you put your state and then type in. So for example, me, it'd be Texas Secretary of State. And from there, I'd be able to get all the information to figure out exactly how to go about creating a company. But if you're in a situation where, you're not really understanding the forms or you want to make sure that you don't make any issues, I recommend that you reach out to numerous different sites that actually do the work for you, right? There's sites like LegalZoom, Inc. Authority, and there's another one. What I'll do is I'll put in the description down below, I'm going to put a list of all the companies that I talk about today, the ones that I recommend. And that way, if I ever need to, refresh the list, let's say, for example, one company, people are having a bad experience with, I can just take them off the list and so on and so forth. That way we can just make sure that it stays, it's always staying consistent and refreshed. But I'll put down below the links of companies I think you can use. One of the companies, actually, I think they don't even charge a fee for the actual formation of the company. They probably charge you if you need like something called like a registered agent or any other specials or additional add-ons that you want to have. Okay. But yeah, that's going to be the first thing that you want to do. That, at least for me, it ran me about $300. So you can expect to be spending a couple hundred to be able to actually incorporate your business. Okay. And once you actually get that done, then you want to go to the next step. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you get an EIN number. That what that stands for is employer identification number. That's basically, you can look at it as almost like a social for your business. Okay. You're going to be using that anytime you want to open things like a bank account, or majority of the accounts that you need to open up, you're going to need to provide this number to people. That way they're able to just make sure that, you're not on any type of terrorist list or something, or you're not like any account that's, they're able to just kind of get an idea what, get a little bit of business information pretty much. That's the gist of it. Okay. So you want to make sure that you get that EIN number, because without it, then you're not going to be able to go through the further steps. You're not even going to be able to get your Duns and Bradstreet number, which we're going to need later on, or be able to open up any type of real business accounts that you're going to need. Okay. Now, the benefit of this is you can actually get this number for free. I recommend everyone just do it through the government website. There's on the IRS website, there's a way to actually be able to get this open. I'm going to link to that down below as well. And it's completely free. That's the other great thing. And typically, depending on when you're doing this, if it's not a busy period for them, I found that I could be able to get an EIN number within pretty much 48 hours. Okay. So it's definitely a process that's very quick and painless. So that's the second thing that you're going to do. You're going to want to get that EIN number. The next thing that I had to do was I had to actually get a business address. Now, especially in this day and age, a lot of people, when they're starting off with like a side hustle or just launching their first business, they don't want to go out and get like a storefront and be paying like $5,000 a month or $2,000 a month, whatever it is. It makes more sense for you to just run the business, if possible, out of your house or where your residence. And then once you see it's gaining traction, then you could start looking for office space and things like that. And for me, I'm big about, trying to conserve as much capital as you can whenever you're starting off. So I think that's really the best route to go. But the issue with it is it doesn't look very credible to banks, right? If they're seeing you give them a residential address, they're not going to take you as serious because it doesn't look like you're an established business. Okay. Now, the fix to that is, if you already have a storefront, you can use that storefront address. But if you don't, then what you can do is you can get what's called virtual addresses. Okay. Those are pretty much where it's almost like you're renting a mailbox at a location or a company that all they do is collect mail for people and are pretty much used for those virtual addresses. You want to make sure that you're not doing one where it's like a PO box or like a UPS box or anything like that. But you can find actual virtual addresses. And that's pretty much what I did. I found a company that they offer the virtual address, and it looks literally just like a physical address. They gave me like a suite number. So I can't remember the exact address, but let's say it was like 200 Walnut Road or Walnut Lane, suite number 250, right? So it sounds like it's a big office building, and I just have one of the suites in that office building, right? So that's kind of what you want to look for. And this actually ran me $95.76 for the year, right? So that comes out to $7.98 a month, pretty much. So I'm pretty much paying about $8 a month. Okay, so that wasn't bad at all. Now, the next thing that I went ahead and got was a business phone number. Okay. It's great nowadays because of, a lot of people starting online businesses. You can now get business phone numbers that you don't have to get an actual hard line or an actual telephone, like the old school phones that you can pick up that would ring and things like that. You can actually just get it through an app. And so basically what it is you buy a business phone number from one of these, they're called voice over IP, so VoIP companies. And they will actually give you an app where you can take the business calls from the app. And it's great because you're able to use it on your regular phone. And if you get a business call, right, it's going to show up on your phone and you're going to know, oh, this is for my business. So you can, talk to them however you do your greetings for whatever it's your business. And then if it's a regular call, it'll look like a regular call. You'll be able to tell the difference. So I think those are really great to start with, and pretty much what I've been using since the get-go. So the company I recommend and I think is going to be great for majority of people is going to be a company called Grasshopper. Okay. Grasshopper is, I used them, started using them a couple years back, and they were great. They're a great starter phone, especially unless you're doing anything like super complex, like you need a call center or things like that, then Grasshopper is going to be perfect for you. They run it, it comes out to roughly, you end up paying about $29 a month, right? And so that's, to me, not bad at all for you to have an actual business number that people can reach out to you at. So I'll link to them down below. I use actually it's like a subsidiary. Grasshopper is owned by a company called govt, and they own Grasshopper and also have another phone service. The other phone service is probably about 2-3 times the price, but it has it's more for if you're trying to set up a call center, which is kind of what I'm looking to do in the future. So that's why I decided to just start off with them. So majority of people, it won't make sense for you to use what I use, which is called Jive Communication. It's going to actually be a better fit for you to be able to actually use Grasshopper. And Grasshopper is great. You're able to text people from your business phone number, take calls, they can send you faxes, things like that, all that. So it's really the complete package. I think is great for anyone starting off. And on kind of one of the points I touched on is you need a fax number. Okay, so that's what's great about these apps is they give you what's called an e-fax or virtual fax. And so if someone is faxing you a form, they can fax it to your actual number. So with in Grasshopper's case, your business number, you can get calls, text, and fax. So if someone faxes a form to that number, then you actually get an email with the information where you can download it from your email or even on their desktop application. So it's definitely a great addition for anyone who's thinking about getting a business phone number. This is going to be perfect because you're going to have the business phone and you're going to get the fax, which is what you're going to need for building your business credit. So in terms of pricing, I went ahead and marked that as free, the fax, because it comes included with the Grasshopper. Now, the next one is going to be getting your business listed in the 411 directory. Okay. Now, a lot of the times the phone companies will do this for you, right? Or they might even charge you a fee for them to do it. I think if you have a phone service that is willing to do it for you, that's probably the easiest route to go. But if not, then I have found a service, which I'm going to link down below, that actually lets you do it yourself for free. Okay. So it's listyourself.net. I'm going to put it down in the description so you can check it out. But they will actually allow you to be able to do this entire process yourself. It's pretty simple, but you need to make sure that you are typing in all your information correctly. Like your business name, type in exactly how your business is spelled on your actual incorporation papers that you did with the Secretary of State. Make sure that you type in your business address correctly, as well as your business phone number. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're not making any mistakes whenever you're filling all that stuff out. Now, the next thing that you're going to need, and I think this is probably going to be probably the hardest part of this entire credibility building section, is actually making sure that you have a company website. Now, the idea behind the company website is that whenever you're, dealing with any type of lenders or anything like that, there's a high probability, especially in this day and age, that they might try to search more information up on you, right? To try to get an idea who you are. The last thing you want is for someone else to be telling your story for you. What I mean by that is, once you start selling, especially online, you're going to realize that the most vocal people are the people who had a bad experience with you. Just think about the last time that you dealt with a company and you didn't have a good experience. You were telling everybody about it, right? If someone asked you how your day was going, that you didn't hesitate to talk about the experience you had with whatever company, whether it's their customer service or, just whatever the situation was, right? You're going to be willing to mention it, right? And so that's kind of what happens online as well. People who feel like they've had a bad experience with you, if, for example, you weren't able to take care of their issue or whatever it is, they can go online and just voice their frustrations about your company. And the last thing you want to have is for you to not have any type of company website or any type of, presence online. And the only thing showing up when people search your company is bad reviews about you, right? So that's why I always recommend you have a website, especially if you're doing any type of e-commerce, you're going to need a website anyways. Like if you're planning on selling things online, like physical goods or even digital goods, then you're going to want to set up the website, obviously. Now, in that case, I typically recommend that you use a company called Shopify. I've used them to build multiple websites for myself. I even helped clients build websites back whenever I used to do website building and things like that. And I think that platform is the easiest by far to be able to set up. They make it really easy. It's pretty much drag and drop. You're able to move things around however you want. And, it's just a completely simple process, which I love, right? And the great thing is they even give you free themes. So you can already have different layouts that you're able to choose and play around with or mess around with to this change up the colors and add your logo, whatever it is. And so they make it just completely simple. And I think it comes out to around, let's say like $20-$30 a month for the entire platform. And you can get a free theme or a free layout. Really simple. Okay. So that's what I recommend if you want to do e-commerce, like you're planning on actually selling online through the internet. Right? Like you're selling goods. If you are in another situation, which is the route I went, where you're selling services and you don't really you're not really selling through your website. It's more so that you need a website. It's kind of like a catalog per se. In that case, I would recommend you use WordPress, right? It's going to be a lot easier for you to set up. You can make kind of like a one page, which is the route I went, just making a single page where it just has information about my business. Now, total, when I went that route, it ended up costing me, I needed web hosting, I needed a domain name, a website theme, and a logo. In total, I ended up paying for the domain. I paid $9, and that's like a yearly thing. Web hosting, it came out to $63.20 for the year, which is about $5 a month. Website theme, I found a free one online, which was perfect for what I needed, and the logo, free as well. I just found one of those website or logo makers and just kind of threw up a logo. But if you want a professional logo made, you can check out like Upwork or Fiverr, both great sites where you can actually get a professional to make it for you. I think you probably won't end up paying more than like $20 to $50. That should be enough. But if you want to pay even more for a really, really nice logo, you can do that as well. Now, the next thing you want to get is a professional email. Now, the one I use is called G Suite. I think they recently just changed their name to Google Workplace, but honestly, it is really simple and it's a lot simpler than it probably sounds when you think about it at first. Now, to give an idea what I mean by a professional email is instead of you using an email like Tommy@gmail.com, which doesn't sound professional, right? It's just a personal email. You want to you want to be able to use a professional email where it's like Tommy@TomyBoboy.com or whatever your company's name is .com, right? That's kind of the ending that you want. And what I found is the easiest to use has been G Suite for me, which is Google's business version of email. And honestly, it's really simple. It literally looks just like if you have a Gmail account, you're gonna see that it looks just like the Gmail account, and pretty much the same thing. Just slight changes to it where you're able to tell that it's your business account, but they make it really easy. Operates the exact same way, but you get additional features. Obviously, you're going to get more space in like Google Drive and all these other like business applications that they give you access to, right? But it comes out to actually just being $6 a month. So this is hands down something that you want to make sure that you get for your business because it just makes sense. It's just so cheap, right? $6 a month comes with it was $6 per user per month, roughly. Okay, so however many different people you have in your company, you'll just pay $6 per person for each of them to have an email. Okay, so I think that's going to be great for you. Hands down the easiest that I found in terms of setting up and just usage. So that's what you want to do. That way you have a professional email. And this is the email that you want to use to reach out to. If you have any questions with lenders, you want to reach out to them using this email. Don't hit those lenders up with your Gmail or with your Hotmail account or Yahoo. I don't know what people are using nowadays, but whatever you have, or your iCloud email, because it doesn't look professional. If you're hitting them up or reaching out to them through your professional email, they're going to take you that much more serious. Okay, so definitely something that you want to take a look at. Now, the next thing that you want to take a look at is going to be setting up a bank account. I actually was doing some research on this and saw that a lot of lenders were saying that they actually, when it comes to them looking at your company, right? They use your bank history to decide when you actually first officially opened for business. Okay. So the way they look at it is if let's say you incorporated your business, right? You filed the paperwork to have an actual business open 5 years ago, but then you didn't open a bank account until 2 years ago. In their minds, you're a 2-year-old business. Your business has been around for 2 years. And honestly, it makes sense, right? You need a bank account if you're really conducting business like that. Right, you got to have a place to store your money. And so you want to open your bank account as soon as you can. A lot of the bigger banks will charge you a monthly fee. I was seeing like Chase is like $15, Wells Fargo $10, Bank of America was around 16, unless you meet a certain deposit amount. So you got to keep a certain amount of money in your bank account every single day or every month, whatever it is. But I recommend you go to a credit union at first if you're not able to reach those thresholds. Then just go to any type of credit union, and you should be able to open a free bank account, right? That's pretty much what I did when I was first starting, was open a bank account at a little credit union. Or what you can do now, especially what's kind of starting to be the wave, is using fintech companies. There's a lot of fintech companies out there who are trying to get a lot more business. So they're doing things like creating these competitive credit cards, and even creating competitive bank accounts. So you can actually just get an online bank account. The only difference is you're not going to be able to, since it is a online company, right? An online tech company, you're not really going to be able to go to a branch or anything like that. So as long as you're willing and you're okay with that, then you can go that route. If not, I say you probably go to a credit union first, or just to a regular big bank like a Chase, Bank of America, so on and so forth. And I think those are going to be pretty much the main things, right? I have some other stuff on here, like make sure you have all the licenses you need for your business. You got to make sure that you are operating completely legal, right? You don't want these banks to do research on you and find out that you're like, I don't know, this is just an example. I'm not sure how it works, but let's say like you're a hair care company and you don't even have the license. You're not even licensed in your area or something, right? That's the last thing you want. You don't want that at all. You want to make sure that you have all the license that might be needed for your industry. So if you're not sure, just do a quick Google search and kind of see what people are saying, see what the word is, and you're going to be able to find information on if you need a license or not. Okay, so that's one thing you want to do. Lastly, you want to check and make sure that your business name is showing up correctly everywhere that it's listed. Okay, because you don't want any issues where an account's not showing up on your business credit report. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but it's not showing up on any of your business credit reports, and it actually ends up costing you, because you're not gaining on any accounts that you're getting added on. Okay, so you want to just make sure everything's showing perfectly, right? Everything's showing exactly the same. And in terms of a DUNS number, if you don't know what DUNS is, that stands for Duns and Bradstreet. They're pretty much like they're like a credit bureau, but for business credit. And they're really the main one. You need them because you need to have a Duns and Bradstreet number, or a DUNS number. And that's the number that you're going to be putting on all your applications. So they can, whoever the lender is can report back to Duns and Bradstreet. Okay. So, what I decided is, instead of me even applying for that number, once you apply for credit and you get approved, that number is automatically generated for you. Okay, so I think that's the route I'm going to go. Is I'm going to start applying in the next episode. I'm going to be talking about how I applied for different types of vendor credit, and I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how once I applied it, I was able to get my Duns and Bradstreet number and everything, and go deeper into that. Okay, so that's going to be the gist of it. In terms of the total, I did the calculations on it. I know some of the stuff I was purchasing, I did like a year. I purchased it for the year. So what I decided to do is I decided to extrapolate that and break it down into a monthly cost. And my cost came out to around $50 per month. Okay, for everything. That's going to be pretty much the gist of it. $50 per month. I think that includes, it might have included all the hard costs, not including the incorporation, because I had already done it. But I'll put a list out there of everything that's included. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this first episode. So now we've kind of laid the groundwork at this point. You're able to know exactly, you have a good foundation. And now from going forward, we can start applying for different types of vendor credit. Okay. And I'm going to be teaching you guys I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm specifically applying for, but you can also, depending on your industry or whatever you're trying to, kind of where you're trying to take your business, you might apply for the same kind of credit and stuff that I'm applying for, but maybe you're applying for additional types of vendor credit that maybe I didn't think about because I'm not in that industry. Okay. So, everything I'm doing, make sure that you are kind of looking at it through the lens of your company as well. That way, I just want to kind of give you the full picture and then to kind of give you an idea, like a roadmap that you can follow. And you might have to take certain turns where I didn't, just because your business is a little different than what I'm doing. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure that you hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below as well so you don't miss my next video. And share this with anybody else that you know that might be trying to build their business credit as well. We want to get this information out to as many people as possible so they can start getting access to the credit that they need to be able to continue to grow their businesses. This is the stuff that the big guys are using. This is the techniques that they're using to grow their business. And I want to make sure that we all have access to it, right? A lot of people know that this is pretty much how Walmart grew so fast, right? This is what they're doing. Pretty much the whole vendor credit idea, or the vendor credit kind of situation, is what they're using. They pretty much take all the product that you see on their shelves. They are pretty much loan that out, and then they don't pay for it until pretty much they've already sold that product. Okay, so just keep in mind, guys, this can be quite a game changer. So be sure that you're following along with me, and I will see you guys at the next video. All right, peace.